All right. Hello. Good morning, everybody. This is Chelsea Gaddy with Q2 Career here at Mars Hill University. And this morning we are talking to my friend Amanda Ladd.
Hi,
Um,
everybody.
when did you graduate from Mars Hill? Remind me.
2002,
Cool. Wow. Yay.
early
So,
2000s, before the housing crisis. I mean, our generation was set up for failure, and I think that most of us have done pretty good getting through it.
I know, right? Yeah, girl. So, just to quickly start out, tell us a little bit about your background, your journey from Mars Hill to New York City, what drew you to performance, all those things.
So I picked Mars Hill in a time when I graduated high school in 1998, there were not that many colleges that actually offered a degree in musical theater. Mars Hill was one of them. I was actually supposed to go. I grew up in Florida, and but I had family. I was born in Tennessee. I knew this area. I'm from this area originally, from the Tennessee side, and um, I was going to go to the University of, excuse me, what's the school in Tallahassee? FSU. I was going to go to FSU, and it has a great program. They still have a great program. But I wanted to get out of Florida. I was so done with Florida. And I took a random buy one, get one free a Greyhound bus trip ticket with a friend of mine from high school on my spring break because she was looking at a school up here. I said, "Oh, my dad's farm's not far from here. I want to go look at that school too." And we toured the campus, and I fell in love, and I had a feeling in my gut that this is where I needed to be. And they offered a musical theater degree. I mean, this was back when NC School of the Arts didn't even have a musical theater degree. So Mars Hill was really on the cutting edge of that availability for people who are looking for a smaller school experience. And FSU is a great program, but man, you're lucky to get on stage at all because of their graduate program. And that's something that I was very aware of. And I needed more practice. I didn't come out, tap dancing. I knew that I wanted to be an actor, but I felt like I needed to grow more, and a smaller college experience is what I was looking for. So, that being said, Mars Hill was an amazing experience for me, even though we had different administrative changes throughout my 4 years. I graduated in 4 years with a BFA in musical theater, and I came under T, which the black box is named after. And you guys, he's still alive. If you get the chance to meet him, you should, because he's a really important person. C. Robert Jones taught one of my first classes here. He's in his 90s. So it gives you a sense of time and place and institutional memory, which is pretty special and shouldn't be lost. But then John Ertling was here, and then he left, and then Bill Gregg came in, and then Neil came in. And so there was a shifting of the guard. So it was kind of actually an amazing time, because they were on their best behavior when they first came here, because they wanted to show what they could do. And, I think anybody who gets the opportunity to work in a program that is still developing or finding itself, you can be a part of something very special. And I think that my cohort and even my underclassmen, Chelsea was one of those. I think we all really gained a lot, even though it's not always ideal to have swinging doors. But there was a lot of change happening at that time. Um, and then, as far as like my move from Mars Hill to the real world, I went and worked for my first job out of college at SETC. I got a job with Disney Cruise Lines in my senior year, and that was a great experience. But I'm not a Disney princess. It's just not like I may have looked that way when I was 21, but my soul has always been 45. So I did okay with that. It was a good experience, great production values. I recommend it to anybody. To cut your teeth on a cruise line is hard work. They say it's hard work, but once the show is up, it's really not. And you have to be careful not to drink too much and not to create bad habits, because all you're doing is performing at night, and it can be kind of boring. So that was my experience with the cruises. I saved enough money to move to New York City, and then I got my booty to New York City. I became roommates with a upperclassman who had graduated before I went to school there, Chris Getty, who is a legend, and you will all probably meet him at some point or another. And I have been in New York City, even though I'm sitting in Mars Hill, North Carolina right now. I have been in New York City for almost 25 years, and I still have an apartment there. I'll never lose my apartment, and because we won a lottery, and we'll never get rid of it, and it's fantastic. And now I have a home up here, and we split our time because I've got a little baby child and still working. I think that answered your question. That was maybe over the limit.
No, that was good. That was good. That was like just checking it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of folks that you worked with here at Mars Hill that were really instrumental in your journey growing up in the world of theater. Is there anybody else that you could think of, just one person that perhaps like we don't know here around Mars Hill that was a huge influence for you?
I have to be honest, no, because I didn't know anybody in New York. Chose, I didn't have anybody in my family who was like, yeah, go be an actor. Like nobody really knew. And so the people that I met who guided me and became my family and still are, one of them is here. Ben Coates is on vacation and staying with me here. Were fogies that I met at Southern Appalachian Repertory Theater, which is kids who are doing start now. It was a much different institution back in the day. Not to say that it doesn't have some great merits right now, and you should internship there and learn some things. But when I was in school and I first worked, I first worked for Southern Appalachian Repertory Theater. I worked in the box office. I was paid $75 a week, and everyone lived at in the actor housing. And it wasn't like a lot of local people. It was people from out of state, a lot of New Yorkers. And I met Ben Coates, who had been on Broadway, lived in New York but came here in the summers. I met Randy Nugent, who is a great playwright and actor and director. Michael Madison, who has done a lot of TV and film. And though Randy in particular really took me under his wing with a theater company that he had been a part of since the early 80s called Circle Rep. And if you don't know what Circle Rep is, then it's that's a problem because it's a pioneer of modern American theater. Lanford Wilson came out of Circle Rep. Everybody that you know who is amazing came out of Circle Rep. Swoozie Kurtz. I'm blanking on the guy who just did To Kill a Mockingbird. Jeff Daniels. All of these amazing figures came out of this out of this amazing new works development wing of Circle Rep. So Circle Rep had long since kind of died off, but there were members who still met for readings, and that's how I started cobbling together a network of artists who knew more than me, who were older than me, who had lived in the city for at least a decade, and that became an artistic incubator for me while I was still pounding the pavement and going to equity calls and trying to figure out like what it looks like to be a musical theater performer, because early on that's what was paying the money. I always wanted to act, and I love acting. It's I think it's what my calling in life is, and I'm a great singer. But musical theater is its own division of crazy and delusional, and all of those things are good, but it is a certain kind of person, and I burned out fast pounding the pavement. I got my equity card with TheaterWorks USA doing If You Give a Mouse a Cookie and Other Stories, which I toured the country for about 9 months doing. It was a bus and truck. I loved doing that actually. The guy who directed it wrote Altar Boys, and he was nominated for a Tony for Sing Like It Hot. Kevin Diaguela. I got to work with great people in that, and that was just children's theater, you know. So TheaterWorks USA, if you get to New York and you're looking for your equity card, great way to get it. But the times have changed. I am officially an old person. Now you can just pay a bunch of money and join it. I don't love the new way they do things because I think it should be merit based. I think you need to be able to do stuff before you can call yourself equity. I think about leaving equity all the time. The thing that I have positive to say about equity is that if you work enough, you can get some health care that's decent. It's not amazing, but it's decent. If you have type 1 diabetes, not great. Not a great program. You're going to have to be looking for other stuff. So, um, so I have mixed feelings about the union. Unions are never a bad thing. Unions protect you. I do know that I like working on a set that goes by union standards, even if they aren't union. Everybody deserves a break. Everybody deserves their time to be honored. Everybody deserves the respect of having equal, that's why it's called equity, equal footing in the room. And actors forever have been treated like garbage because we're willing to do it. So stop doing it.
Right. That's right. Oh, thank you for sharing that because I know as I'm teaching in senior seminar and explain things about equity, there are lots of mixed feelings and um, both things can be true. You can love something and be frustrated with the system.
Yes.
So I feel like we could do like a 3-part episode with Amanda. You have so much to tell us about the world.
One thing about equity, and something that all of you need to be thinking about if there's anybody out there who wants to move to New York City. One of the reasons that I have the affordable housing that I have in New York City is because I went to the Equity Building and I went to the Actors Fund, which is still there, and I used it as a resource. I went to all of the seminars on how to get affordable housing. I knew the buildings that I needed to apply to. I knew about, there was a program that I was trying to figure out how to buy my own apartment for a while, but they taught me all the things that I needed to do and they had somebody walk me through it. Use those resources and get on the list now. nychousing.org, apply for those lotteries because while you make nothing, that is what they're looking for. They're looking for people who make nothing. And if you make too much, then you won't be able to get in. But once you're in and you stay in. No matter if I'm making $500,000 this year, I still get to keep my affordable apartment that I can live my dream and not have to hand over my paycheck and do bottle service, which is really, really hard. And I can't wear high heels anymore.
I love it. Yes, you know all the tips and tricks. So give us a little bit of life advice on the side gig life that you have lived. Just because we all kind of need a backup plan here and there, and that's something that pops up a lot in this podcast. Like, how are we piecing all these things together and making it? Ah.
So, I mean, my side hustles have always been very interesting. So I'll try to make it, my first bit of advice that I can give is that commit to a side hustle that isn't going to drain you so that you don't have anything left over for the artistry that you need to have. When I first moved to the city, I made a lot of money waiting tables and bartending. I was young and cute and sassy, and I was taking home $300 to $500 a night. Um, that lifestyle was really hard because there also comes a lot of partying that goes with that. It's late nights. You have to be up early to get on cue. I mean, again, the world has changed. Now you can do things online, but if you're not equity, you're showing up in person. So, so I burned out on that very quickly. And I realized that I needed to find something that was going to bring me joy and that I could do and that I could also foster and continue to get good at. So what I did is I really took a inventory of what I enjoyed about what I was doing as a waitress, and what I really liked was I liked the beverage side of it. And I was lucky enough to the owner's wife was a wine educator, and so I actually took the WSET and I got certified in wine and spirits education. And then I took a pay cut to go work in a bottle shop because I love wine so much that I could afford to drink all of the $10 to $15 bottles of wine, but I couldn't drink the stuff that really matters, the stuff that's 30 and up. So I went to work in a bottle shop making way less money, and so that I could buy my wine at cost and I could taste a lot of different things and develop my palate. I took what I needed from there, and then again I assessed, what do I like about this? I like working with people, but I don't get paid enough money. I love the ability to try a lot of different kinds of wine. How can I up my game? So then I met a restaurateur who let me use his back room, and I started teaching wine classes. I taught introductory level wine classes, sake classes, beer classes, and tequila classes. And it was an excuse to get drunk and get paid to do it with a bunch of people who were looking for someone to teach them to trust themselves, because people are so up their butts about like what they should be experiencing. So it was a sensory thing. I also had a laptop with a webcam, and it was before YouTube existed. I answered an ad on Craigslist for entertaining people with webcams. And I know that what you're thinking, but webcam girls were not big there then at that time. And I started doing a show for a company called blogtv.com, and I was getting paid um, hourly at first, and then I started to get a lot of viewers, so I was starting to get paid via Google. And so every person who came in my room, that was 25 cents. So I was doing shows for people all over the world, and some of those shows had 10,000 to 15,000 people who were watching it. I was doing like tours of New York City because I had one of those wireless cards that I brought around with me. It was fun, and I got a TV pilot out of it, and I went to Los Angeles. The point of me telling you these stories is, what I did was I found things that brought me happiness. And then, even though if they weren't making me money at the time, I figured out, okay, what do I need to do to cultivate that and to make it work harder, make it work better? That's when I started the sex stuff, because I used to do a show about sex and sexuality, but I wanted to be funny. I wanted to talk about strange things. And so, like, my first show I did was a sexy Sunday. I dressed up in a Kellogg's box, and I did a whole show on how Dr. Kellogg created cornflakes to help children masturbate less. That is why I don't know if you know that, but that's why Kellogg's was created. So, these are the things that, like, I was trying to be a comic, and I was trying to toe the line. I knew that sex sold, but I'm not a porny girl, so I always sort of like tried to find an avenue that I knew I could exploit. And from that, I did that for years, and I was paid to turn on my camera 5 days a week and do a show. And then once that started to,
I
what?
used to watch you.
Uh,
Yeah.
you used to do
Yeah.
it for 5 seconds.
I did. I had a blog TV channel as well. If you dig deep enough on the interwebs, you can find me and Michael Fisher, last week's guest, on my blog TV, singing stuff from the last 5 years in some random theater in Raleigh where we found a piano.
Love it. See, I mean, that was the Wild West before, YouTube was what it was, and it was finding itself. And I'm so grateful for that experience. So pandemic hit. I went back to school because my side hustle, I do a lot of sales for the sex toy company adamandeve.com. I go under a different name because when a casting director sees Amanda Ladd and then a bunch of dildos pop up, it's probably not good. So I go by Amber Sky. I think if you're going to work in any kind of field that is going to make someone have an opinion about you without you knowing, it's okay to have a nom de plume. It doesn't mean that I'm ashamed of the work I do. I'm not. I love what I do. But I went back to school for to become a holistic sex educator during the pandemic, because I was making money off of infomercials, and got a heart to help people during that time when I went to school, to help people with disabilities, and to consult with sex toy companies on how to make toys that there's a missing hole in the market. And so that's something I'm working on right now, and I'm helping launch a new line with this woman who's like a mogul. Her name is Rhonda Shear, and she's like worth 10 million, and she's an HSN woman, and she has a bra line, and we're about to do a new Playboy line of toys, and going to be shooting that in Tampa. So all the side gigs I've ever done have somehow had a theatrical component to it. And or a TV and film component to it, and that was very on purpose, but it took me time to cultivate it. So yeah, find the thing that you enjoy doing. I know all of you want to be actors. And I'm not going to say, but what if it doesn't work out? It will work out in some way. It may not look the way you think it's going to look, but take the skills you have as an artist and put them towards whatever else you do. My confidence and my charisma have gotten me further than my talent ever could. So just remember you have to like, you've got to sell yourself. You are your brand. You are, every time you show up, you are presenting something that people have to either buy into or go, not for me. And you're not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. Man, you are so brave. Like you're just literally so freaking brave. I've always thought that about you, but um yeah, you're not scared of judgment. You go out there and do the things that make you happy. You find your joy. Uh so we are at time, but I do want to like invite you to come on down to campus anytime you want to and
I
come
totally will.
share more wisdom with us because we love to see you and yeah, it's a really interesting changing world, and I'm so glad that you've had the pulse on so many things about, YouTube and Blog TV and the way that things have changed because um, there is no shame in some of the work that some of our students and friends want to do in life, and this is just really solid, brave advice. I appreciate you.
Thanks. I'm stoked to do it. And I think one of the things before we sign off, and I know we're at time, that I'm finding among my friends and the young people that I work with is there's a mental health component of especially in this industry. And I know that there's lots of woo-woo talk about self-care and stuff like that. I do think it's something you have to learn how to do. You need to learn how to parent yourself and to be better to yourself than anybody else is able to be, because no one is going to do better for you than you. And take responsibility for that. Like, it's nobody's job to help you.
I love that. Yeah, Lucille Ball always said that always take care of number one, everything else will fall into place.
That's right.
That's the way to be.
That's right.
Ah, well, I appreciate you. And
Okay.
we're
No.
gonna we're gonna see you soon. Do you have anything coming up that anybody can follow or tune in? What's up?
Tale of the Bell is happening in St. Pete, Florida, which we just did at SART, and it's still developing. We just had new pages that we worked on, so that's exciting. I'm doing a one-woman show in Fort Myers in April called I Love, I Lost, I Made Spaghetti, and I have to make a five-course meal on stage in real time, so I'm very excited about that prospect. And I'm doing a reading of a play called Florida Man, which is hilarious. It's a new musical in New York. So if you're in New York City around Thanksgiving, hit me up and I'll get you tickets.
That's
And
hilarious. That's so
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I
everything.
You are amazing. We appreciate you.
You're amazing too. Thank you guys so much and have a great year. I hope
Yes.
it's the best. I love Mars Hill, by the way. I loved my time at Mars Hill. Soak it up. It is a special place. There
Magic.
there are dimensions that you just don't even know. There are angels that are there and they're helping you. And I know that sounds so boo-boo, but it's true. So enjoy it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, girl.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.